Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page right here at Facebook, where I do a daily live stream, really around the card draws that I do in the morning. And that's meant for all of us, not just an individual person, but for all of us. And so today is Sunday, January 6th. Can you believe that? We're almost a full week into the first part of 2019. It's gone fast as usual, doesn't it? Like a blink of the eye. It's Sunday. I like Sundays. Usually around my house, it's a little bit quieter, a little slower paced usually. And so, yeah, Sundays are meant for drinking coffee and reading a little bit and, that kind of stuff. A little bit slower pace in the morning, usually. So anyway, welcome to the daily live stream. Today, here in Tomah, Wisconsin, where I live, it's rather cloudy, and it's actually kind of warm though. We're probably almost 40 degrees. I don't think that this is just your typical January thaw. I don't think so. It feels like spring out there, actually. Hey, Julie Hill is here. Let's see if the comments work. They do, but we don't have your profile picture. But hey, we got the comment up on the screen. Hi, Julie. Good afternoon to you too. It's always good to have you in the chat. For those of you that were with me yesterday for the daily live stream, we were having issues with showing everyone's comments. I did report it to our partners at BeLive TV, and I wasn't the only one having issues with it. And so they're on it. They're trying to figure out what happened or what is happening and trying to get the fix in there. So it's possible in this live stream that we will lose the ability to show your comments on screen, but that's okay. I've got my phone and I can take a look and see who's in the chat and still at least read your comments out loud. We kind of like showing them up there on the screen though. See, it won't go now. Julie, it was one and out. And so we have, let's see if I can show my name. Well, that's good. So you guys know who I am, Neshi Lokotz. All right. Well, this daily live stream, we started this way back in May of this year, 2018, I mean. And that was based off from the card draws that I was doing anyway. I've been doing card draws to know what is important for us to know about on that given day, right, energetically. And so I started putting like quotes on our Instagram account almost 2 years ago from that card draw. And then in May, I just thought, my spiritual team was saying, let's do a live stream. Let's do a live stream about it. So I thought, well, maybe those in our spiritual community here at Star Nations would enjoy having a conversation around the card draw. And so it really turned into more of a spiritual discussion, a conversation. Yes, we do talk about the cards and the meaning of the cards for everybody, not just a singular person. But we also talk about all kinds of things. Like one time, one of our longtime listeners, Rochelle asked me about grounding. How do you ground? And so that started a long conversation about that. And actually that has become probably one of the most talked about pieces here is grounding, because every once in a while, especially in December during the 12/12 gateway, I was asking almost every day, who's done their grounding? And that has led to more questions about grounding. Hey, Tina's here too. Tina, so good to see you in the chat. I wish I could show you your comment, but BeLive is still having issues with that. So I don't know. I'm going to show it again and see if it shows up in the live stream. Let's see. Let's turn down my sound. So while I have my phone out and I'm looking for our live stream, I'm going to like and share the broadcast. And if you could do that for me as well, that way hopefully we'll show up in the news feed more often. In Facebook, there's just so much information that comes in. And so lots of things get buried. You go back to look for it and you can't find it, right? And so if you could share and like, that would be fantastic, but only if you want to. Okay. So I am going to do the same. I am sharing and liking. I'm going to share it to my newsfeed. And just so that my friends know that I'm live streaming. And if they could please join. There we go. There. That works. And it looks like Stephanie's in the house too, our social media manager. Hey, that one worked. Yay. Thank you for putting that up there, Stephanie. But I still don't see Tina's comment. Okay. Let's see. See, Rob's here. Hi, Rob. Rob Kendall's here. Julie's here, of course, and 2 other people are watching, but they don't tell me who the other two people are. Must be Tina, and Andrea's here too. Good afternoon, Andrea. Good to have you here. Thank you for sharing, Julie. Tina says, I would like to know what you think about ringing in the ears. Ringing in the ears. Well, I certainly have experienced that, the ringing in the ears. There is a medical situation with that, right? And so if you do have it, if it's constant, and it's not going away, that's something that you might want to get checked out medically. But there's also a spiritual meaning behind it, right? Energetic. We have all different kinds of ways to bring in information, both seen and unseen, right? And when you're clairaudient, in meaning clear hearing, that you get a lot of your information from spirit through hearing. You're listening, right? Sometimes with the ringing, it is a higher vibration trying to give you information, trying to reach you, right? And so it's so much higher in frequency than what you're at. And so if you can, yes, Rob is saying tinnitus. Yes, that is the physical aspect that it could be. If it's constant and it's not going away, and you might want to get that checked out. But if it's intermittent and it comes and goes, right? And you kind of go, did anybody else hear that? No, Okay, so sometimes the frequency of the being that is trying to reach you is much higher than what you're at. And so you can do things, a couple things you can do is you can raise your frequency to the frequency of love. And how do you do that? You bring images to you that you just love. It changes your frequency. You imagery like nature, or go out in nature. That's even better. But to bring love to you and to actually feel the feelings, the emotions around that of love. And that will raise your frequency up. And many times what happens then is that you get to have that information come through. Okay, that's at a higher frequency. Another way of doing that is asking the being if they could meet you halfway. If they could bring their frequency down just a bit and you bring yours up, that you actually have a connection then. Because they're doing this for a reason. They're trying to get you some information. And so, yeah, and also ask your spiritual team for assistance. Okay, maybe there's a new way for you to do something, and they're trying to get you the information. So ask your spiritual team to come in and help you to understand, what is this ringing in my ears, right? Yeah. All right. All right. And Rob is saying, but that's usually high pitched, and we're talking about high pitched ringing. Is that right, Tina? Specialists don't know. Okay, so it's happened to me where you have this high-pitched ringing, and because he's going, wow, what was that? And it usually goes away. And sometimes they'll come back and then I'll go away. And so I've done the things that I just shared with you. I've tried and done and been able to get the information that's coming through. There's other times when I remember I was in Michigan and we were at a private museum, and the curator, I don't remember if he passed, if he walked on, and they were dispersing the items, or he was really elderly. I don't remember. This was a few years ago. We were taking down, I think it was a vest, a lance. So it was Native American artwork. It was pieces that had some history to it, right? And many of those pieces were from a Native tribe west of the Mississippi. They thought it was Lakota or Sioux. Personally, I don't know. It could have been Arapaho. It could have been Cheyenne. It could have been a number of different tribes, nations out there. But anyway, I was up on a ladder and I was taking down the lance, and the ringing in my ears started. And I got down off the ladder, and we were taking one of the pieces to put it into a bag, and I literally heard this war cry, right? And it was really loud, and that was what was trying to come through with the ringing of in my ear, and the information I got from that was the warrior who had owned, it was his items, his lance, his vest, was like, this release. It was a release. And so to be able to have his items to go home to his people. And so that was an experience with the ringing in the ears for me, right? Tina says, yes, one time I heard a voice far away. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Donnie, it's good to have you here. And so Tina, that's what I would suggest is to bring your frequency up, okay, into the frequency of love, and talking to your spiritual team, your helpers, to help you with that, and asking whatever being is bringing this in is if they can meet you halfway, right, with the information, and see what comes through, because somebody's trying to get a hold of you. It's like, I don't know. My team is telling me it's like the old telephone system. I don't know if you get, this is really going to date me. Okay. This is when I was a kid. We had landlines, right? The telephone on the wall kind of thing. Yeah. Rotary dial. Do you remember the old party system? You didn't have your own line unless you could afford to have a single line. Okay, only one person on the line. Most of us couldn't afford that, and so there was, maybe up to 3 or 4 people on one line. And so when you picked up the receiver, sometimes somebody else was already using the line, and so you had to wait to use the line. And so what they're showing me is that we have information coming in all the time, and whoever is trying to get through has to get your attention. And so they will do something like the high-pitched ringing, or there's certain things, those synchronicities will come through because they're trying to get your attention. And so that's what they're showing me, is that this is like a party system, telephone line, and that somebody's trying to come through for you, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Let us know how that goes, okay? Yeah. Rob is saying, you started talking about it and I went into a coughing fit. Can I PM you later? Sure, absolutely you can. Tina saying, thank you. Oh, yeah. Stephanie reminded me. She just posted something about the cards that we're using. For those of you who are just coming in for the live stream and you don't know, what the heck is she talking about? What is this live stream for? I draw cards in the morning, and this is for a general reading. Okay, it's not for a single person. It's just for all of us, for the entire community. And the cards that I'm using and have been using since the end of September is this deck. It's called Angels and Ancestors by Kyle Gray. And the artist is Lily Moses. Yeah. So this is the deck that we're using. I found it on Amazon.com back in August. I was looking for a new deck, and one that had a Native American kind of slant to it, right? And so this is the one I found. This is the one that kind of jumped off the screen at me, and I'm so glad I got it. It's one of my favorite decks. It's become that. The messages, the information on the cards, I think are so well done. And it really gives us a springboard, a jumping off point to have a spiritual conversation around it, right? Yeah. Yeah, Rob is saying, did you have the crank phone where you dialed in the local switchboard? No, I'm not quite that old. No, but we did have a rotary phone. And yes, you could dial zero to get the operator. And sometimes you needed their help to place long distance phone calls. That's when I was a kid. I can remember, my dad calling Mexico every once in a while, because those are really expensive calls. So anyway, that is the ringing of the ears. Yeah. You're welcome, Rob. Yeah, you can PM me anytime. You know that. All right. So I want to show you one more thing before we get started with the card information. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, one of our contributing writers for Star Nations magazine, Karen Crowley-Suzani, she writes under the column Earth Energies. Right? And Karen and I met years ago through a common teacher, Denise Lynn. We studied with her for Feng Shui and sacred space. And I don't know if Karen did any other courses with Denise or not, but that's kind of what brought us together, was that common teacher, right? And this was years ago. Karen came, I invited her on to do a interview with me last spring, and we had such a good rapport and had a good time with it, and people were loving the information that she had, that I invited her to come back another time and also to start writing for us. And she said yes, right? Well, she did a post yesterday about trees and earth energies, because we're all a part of it, right? We're not separate from it. And I shared that to, I think it was the Star Nations, I think it was the Academy. It could have been, they're both closed groups, the network or the Academy. And I tell you what, there's a lot of people who like that post. And Karen is the one who found it. It comes from another, I think it's the Tao Te Ching something. And anyway, it's a fan page for that group. And so anyway, I wanted to show it to you for those who may not have seen that post. This I thought was really, really good in explaining our connection to trees and how we can be helpful to each other. Because usually when we talk about trees, we're talking about how they can help us to ground. And it's true, they can. But in this particular meme, this particular piece of information, it really shows how we can help each other. And I thought it was really, really good. And why many times when we're out in nature, out hiking on the trails, or just even in our own backyard, if we're out there for any length of time, we start feeling really good, our energy starts to shift. And this is one of the reasons why, is because we can help each other, the trees and us, symbiotic, right? That we can actually help each other. And I thought this was really a good meme, and I wanted to share it again, just so that you guys, for those of you who didn't see the meme yesterday, when I posted it or shared it, or from Karen, that it's really good information. Yeah. Rob is back with the phones. He's saying it wasn't hooked up after I was born, but my grandma kept hers. Oh, well, good for, those are antiques, really antiques. He's also saying trees can also amplify an energy healing send in any modality I've used. Yes, absolutely. Especially pine trees. Pine trees are really good broadcasters. And that's part of their gift, part of their nature is to do that kind of broadcasting. And for those who can see or sense energy, many times you'll see their auric field on all trees, but especially with pine trees because they're constantly assisting in sending and receiving information. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and Tina is saying the pole center of the Sundance. Yes, the world tree, right? Yeah, I used to know the word for that, for the tree, for the center. Hokacha, no, can't remember it. It'll come back to me probably at 2 a.m. in the morning. But anyway, yes, exactly. There's a reason, right, why the Osheti Saikoi use a tree for the center of the Sundance ceremony. Yeah, absolutely. And Andrea is saying, I really love that post about trees. I know so many people did, Andrea. And that's why I wanted to share it here for those people who may not have seen it. They have an opportunity to take a look at it. And it's on my my personal page too. I think I can share it. Although, Stephanie, if you're still available, if you're still in the house, could you grab the link off from my page, my newsfeed on this picture? It goes to the website who actually created this meme. I think it's called something Orbit. Something Orbit. And anyway, they have lots of good stuff on their website. But this particular meme, I thought there was a lot of people who liked it. And I think probably if you combined my personal newsfeed where I posted it for Star Nations, I don't know, probably close to 70 people have liked and or shared it. So it really did strike a nerve, I think. Yeah, definitely. So I just wanted to show that to you one more time, and just for those people who might not had seen it before. Right. So I'm going to get a drink of water here, and then we'll start the card draw, the group card draw for the day. And it's kind of funny because when I was shuffling the cards, again, a whole, I don't know, there's probably 8 or more cards fell out of the deck onto the floor. And so I picked them up and I'm talking to my team. I said, really? All of these? It was like, no, not all of them. There's 2 in there. There's 2 in there. So I spread them out on the table and I used my pendulum to select the 2 to see which ones 2 were. And so I had to smile because this is the first card. This is the ant. I changed the position of my light, and I think I need to change it back. I get too much of a glare. This is the animal guardian. This is the animal guardian. So we get too much of a glare. I need to change that back to where it was, or closer to that. And it says, trust your instincts. Trust your instincts. And this particular card was also in yesterday's reading. And really it was to support the first card, which was the seer card. And in this particular card, if you take a look, there's so much going on. We have all of the animals that's around her. The owl, the raven, the hawk, the deer, the panther, the black panther. I think that's Black Panther. Yes. And then, near her ears, it looks like earrings, but it's not. Those are butterflies. Let's see if we can get a little bit closer. Those are butterflies. Yeah, it's surrounding, and then there's also horns staghorns up near the top. A lot of going on. And this particular card is about showing us that we're not separate from our animal relatives, and we're not separate from our relatives in nature. We're not separate from them. And whenever we have that belief system or that thought that goes through our heads that that the two-leggeds, the humans, are elevated above the rest of the relatives, and that hierarchical, kind of feeling about it, superiority is the word that comes to mind, that we put ourselves separately. And when we do that, when we make that separation, is that we really are cutting off part of our intuition, part of our natural instinct. Yeah. When we hold ourselves separate. And even if you had a belief that we're not a part of the animal kingdom, we're still part of the world, right? And that when we hold ourselves separate, is that we're dismissing part of the energy that's flowing through there. It's. I think I used yesterday the word truncated. Yeah. That we're missing part of ourselves when we do that. And when we go back to our ancestors, no matter who your ancestors are, whether they're here on Turtle Island, or whether they're somewhere over in Europe or Asia, it doesn't matter. When we go far enough back to our ancestry, our lineage, there was a belief that everything was interconnected, that we were all related to each other and supported by Grandmother Earth, right? When you go back far enough. Some people would call it paganism. Some people would call it earth-based beliefs, right? Systems, yeah. And my worldview, anyway, is that we're remembering that, and that's what this card is about today. Is that to remember that we have help from our relatives. They're here to help us, and that when we are include ourselves with those relatives, is that we have more access, fuller access to our intuition and our instincts. And in the write up for the card, Kyle talks about how animals are just animals. They know who they are. They don't try to be something else. And I was watching George this morning, and while he was playing, right? George is a dog. He knows he's a dog. He knows he's a canine. He knows his lineage comes from the wolf, and he doesn't try to be anything less or anything more than that. And he was having so much fun. What was he doing? He was doing what little dogs like to do, and they like to dig. Especially now that we have this January thaw, and we have the ground is starting to thaw out, and he's got a place to dig, and it's like and he was having so much fun. Did he get dirty? Absolutely, he did. He's a little mud puppy, but he was exactly who he is, and he was following his instincts, and he had a great time with it. And our instincts is also about our survival too, right? That's why we have them. So when we're connected, and we remember that we're a part of all that is, all nature, our instincts, that the memory and how they're there and how to use them starts to come back. And so even if you're sitting in the middle of a concrete jungle, right? Middle of a city. Okay. Because not all Native Americans live on a reservation. We don't. There's many people who live in suburbia and also in inner city, and you know, and so the connection to nature can get kind of fuzzy, especially when you're surrounded by concrete and lights all the time. But even there, if you have the belief that you're connected to all that is, your instincts that the memory and how to tap into that and to use that is still there. And so when you're sitting someplace and you can feel somebody's looking at you or staring at you, don't you look up and you look around to see who it is, right? That's instinct. It's instinct. Your intuition will tell you, get up and move, or get up and say hello. And so you follow your intuition, right? Yeah, this card packs a big energy. Yeah, Tina's. I think you're talking about the trees, right? Is that they all have spiritual meanings and have great intuition? Yes, they do. And if you're talking about the animal kingdom or all of our relatives out there, yes, then we get to help each other. We get to help each other with that. Rob says, I saw him try to be a cat confused boy. Actually, Rob, he does have some. I call him Kitty Boy sometimes because he kind of arches his back, you know. And when he's stalking and trying to pounce something, it's rather cat-like. So you're not too far off the mark with that. All right. Oh, Tina says she was talking about the card. Okay, thank you, Tina, for clarifying that. Yeah, and if you take a look at how the Black Panther, the black cat, is up near her ear. It's like he's whispering to her or something, right? And you got the owl looking down on her. Yeah. You know, and if you take a look, because when in the first glance, you think that she's wearing long earrings or maybe a necklace, right? And that is monarch butterfly wings. And for me, whenever you see earrings, huge earrings or long earrings, and it's about clairaudience, it's about the hearing, clear hearing, the listening. And isn't that fun? Isn't it so cute? Love the ears. Yeah, there we go. Back to the ears. Look how big that fawn's ears are. And fawns do have large ears. Deer hear extremely well. It's a part of their gift that they came in with so that they could hear the woods around them, right? So let's look to see about what Kyle has to say. It says, trust your instincts. The message is, trust the powerful animal spirit within to learn more about yourself and your talents. To learn more about yourself and your talents. Your animal instincts. How many people in the live chat have done, I'm going to call it shamanic, but you know how I feel about that word. How many people have danced to drumming where you're connecting to a power animal, one of your power animals, and so that you can actually feel them around you or inside you? How many people have done that? It's a very, I'm looking for a word that would best describe that for me. Okay, the only word that comes to mind is energized. Is that your energy, it's like gets kicked up a notch or two, right? Because you can feel their spirit, you can feel their medicine as it comes into you or near you, that you can feel that extra layer of energy, right? Yeah. Rob is saying Amantha led an exercise in her class. Yeah, and I've actually done that class with her. So, yeah, and I've done other classes where they do this, but I've also done it on my own to be able to connect with that power animal. Okay. For instance, Stephanie has had this whitetail, looks like a whitetail anyway, deer, this buck coming to literally to her front door or her patio door. And she had sent me this picture, and I said, wow, now there's a power animal. There's a power animal. So if you wanted to try this, you can either be in meditation and call your power animal to you and feel what it's like to have them next to you. Feel what it's like for them to be one with you, and to feel their spirit, their medicine, right? Your power animal is there for a reason, to help you, right? And so when you can bring them in close like that, you can feel what their instinct is. You can feel what their gifts are, so that you can tap into that. Yeah, Julie Hill is saying, I have not. So Julie, the little that Julie and I go way back. We went to elementary school together, and high school. And so, both of us, we have this connection to the canines, right? To the wolf, to dog, right? And so that is one of, I would say, either a totem and or a power animal for you. And so that is something that you can, just get quiet and get into that space of that in-between space, and ask that power animal, that wolf or that dog, to come to you, to be next to you, just to feel their energy, their medicine with that, right? It's like I said, for me, it's energizing, is because you feel your energy gets kicked up a notch or two, because they're bringing their gifts to you too. Okay? And Stephanie is saying, it's on my list of things to do this year, drum dance with a power animal. Yay! Yay! Let me know how that goes. And Tina says, it's a powerful feeling to do that. I did that to native music. It sounds crazy, but it does happen. Yes, it does. We've done it here at the Academy for a couple of different classes, where I drum for the students, and they do it's almost like a trance dance. If you're looking for a word to try to wrap around it, something to describe it, it's kind of like a trance dance in a way. But you're actually calling to your animal totem to come to you, or your power animal. It's two different things. So power animal, when they come to you, so that you can feel what it's like to be with them. Yeah. Tina's saying, like I was dancing for Creator. Yeah. Well, in a way we are, right? Because we're calling to our relatives, and the Creator created all of us. All right. You got to look at the time. Yay. So here's what else that jumped out at me rereading the information from Kyle. He says, the Animal Guardian card depicts a tribal angel being held and supported by her animals. She has a love for them, and they have a love for her, demonstrating how incredibly connected nature is with the spirit realms. And it does make sense, though. It does make sense, because we're all spirit. That we're spirit having this physical experience, right? And that we came into these physical bodies to experience this world, Grandmother Earth, this school of polarity, and to have that experience. And so why wouldn't we be connected spiritually in the spirit realm? Why wouldn't we be? It's one of those if-then statements, right? For those mathematicians in the group, those if-then statements. And so that if we're all spirit, then we're connected at that level. So it goes back to Tina's question about the ringing in the ears. That's that spirit trying to connect with another spirit. And because we're here in these physical bodies, we're dense. We're dense. Our energy is dense. And in some respects, mentally, because we try to put everything into the mental realm, and that's our densest physical, that's one of our densest bodies. The physical body and then the mental body, right? Right. So, yeah. So we're spirit having a physical experience. And I know that looking at who's in the live chat, that belief about being spirit. Hey, Teresa Girardi, one of my sisters, just joined. Good to have you here, Teresa. That most of us, and Cindy Ferris is here too. Hello, Cindy. And Jackie's here. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys could join us. All right, so most of us have this belief that we are spirit, right? Having this physical experience. And when you can bring that into your heart space and have this full faith belief about that, is it puts the experience that you're having in a different kind of understanding. It's another perspective, because if you have this perspective that you're human and you're only human, and any of the experiences that you're having, sometimes it's easy to step into that victim mode, and everything is happening to me, right, and not for me. So it is a shift in consciousness. It's a shift. And like I said, looking at the people who are in the chat room, I would say everybody. I can't really be that broad a stroke. Almost everyone has made that paradigm shift, that shift in consciousness. And really, that's the first step, isn't it? And we keep getting that card to reflect and to take in and know how far we've come. How far we've come. Yeah. Oh, Cindy is saying, Linda Black Elk, yeah, talked about healing plants the same way as animals. Yes. Yeah, and I'm going to try to get Linda Black Elk here. Wouldn't that be cool? Teresa is saying, hey, Neshi. Hi there, Teresa. Yeah, and so the first card that came, the Animal Guardian card, right? Really, I believe is more about remembering that we are a part of nature, that we're not separate, and that our animal relatives, our plant relatives, the stone people are relatives, that we're in this together. And that when we remember our animal instincts, it's part of our intuition. And you might even say that that's one of the gifts that we came in with, right? That it's a gift. It's not one of the gifts. It is a gift that we came in with. And when we realize that and we take that in, and those memories start coming back on how to tap into that instinct, our intuition then deepens. Yeah. Because we're becoming whole, right? Yeah. So Tina's asking, who's Linda Black Elk? Linda Black Elk, I first came to know her through Standing Rock Water Protection. She is I don't think she's Lakota. She's another tribe. another nation. I can't remember which one, but she's married to a Dakota, and I think they live in North Dakota, I think. Anyway, she is a herbologist. She has formal education, and I think she's working on her PhD. But more importantly, she teaches about indigenous plants and the healing qualities of indigenous plants. And I listened to one of her live streams not too long ago, and she was talking about stinging nettles. Yeah, and so she actually started at Standing Rock the traditional healers tent, and so what eventually happened there is the merging of Western medicine, the nurses and the doctors and the technicians that were volunteering, merged with those people who were doing Reiki and massage and those kinds of healing modalities, with also the indigenous healers. And so they worked in concert together, and helping the people, right? And Linda was a part of that. Yeah, here we go. Thank you, Stephanie. She says an ethnobotanist from Standing Rock Sioux Tribe. Yeah, I don't think she's Standing Rock though. I don't think so. I think she's another nation, but she's married too, right? Yeah. I posted it on my site, MSN. Yep, Cindy's saying, yay, good for you. Good for you. Tina says, I like the horns are spiritual tennis. Yes, exactly. I agree. And spirit, and it goes back to, again, for me anyway, it goes back to that clear audience for the horns. Tina's saying, we have an elder lady here at my community here that knows about medicine plants. So that's good. That's good. And I really do believe that clans, communities, that's the way we used to live. And I think we're going back to that, even if they're not all native, they're not all indigenous to Turtle Island in that indigenous way, that when we live in communities, even in your neighborhoods, and when you get to know your neighbors, that we all bring our gifts and our strengths. And there are some people who, I'm thinking about when I lived in Poinette, because Teresa was my neighbor there, is that we had people in the community that were knowledgeable in plant medicine. They might not have called it that, but they were. And so I think that's good, isn't it? Especially when you can connect in real time, in real life, with other people. Yeah, Stephanie says you can follow Linda on Twitter and gave twinners. Yay, good one, Stephanie. And Cindy also shares the MSN.com a link to Linda's information, or the article. It's called "The Native American Healer Reviving the Medicine of Our Ancestors." Isn't that nice? I like that. Cool stuff. Makes me happy. Lots of good things out there. Kyle goes on to say about this card. This is the first card. When this card arises, it's important to connect with how you really feel, how you want to feel, and what you really need. Okay? How you really feel. How you want to feel. And what you really need. He says, take time to connect with your animal energy and express it naturally. So to be able to feel the emotions, right? And not suppress them, not repress them, but to feel them. And when you do express them, to express them in a healthy way, or as healthy as possible. Yeah. I mean, going back to my example of George from this morning, is that when he's feeling tired and he's feeling cranky, he feels it and he shows it. And then what he does is that eventually he literally will lay down no matter where he's at, and he goes to sleep. He's feeling those feelings, that emotion, and expresses them, and then he does something about it. He goes to sleep. And so that's our natural instinct that's coming through, right? Yeah. All right. So to support that card, to help us to understand it more deeply, this is the second card that came. This is the Direction Guardian. And we've had this card before. Direction Guardian. Right? And on it, it says, choose your path. Choose your path. And again, lots going on in this card. Up in the corners, you see the tetrahedrons. Those are triangles. One, the point or the apex is facing down, and the other, the apex is facing up. And the tetrahedron is one of the Platonic solids in sacred geometry, and it represents fire, the element of fire. So we got the lion. I'm not sure, that could be a cow or steer. Goat? No. And eagle or dove. Eagle, it looks like. Eagle. And then man or angel. Direction Guardian. And this particular card we've had before. And it really is about, being on a path, and you have the four directions, right? And you're kind of in the center, and you have to have a choice, choosing your path. And it's not one path is right and the other path is wrong. No, it is the choice, because you're going to have experiences on either path. You're going to have soul growth on either path. It depends on which path you choose is what kind of experience you want, right? And it's not good, and it's not bad, it's not positive, or it's not negative. It's an experience. Some people like to take the country roads and have many experiences along the way. The country roads, those rustic roads, the highways and byways, right? And having that kind of experience where it's going to take you longer to get to your destination, but you may have many more experiences than if you would have taken the expressway. The expressway is going to give you experiences as well, but it's going to be less of the highways and byways. It's going to be more of a linear, right? And so it's a choice, is what they're saying. It's just a choice. And Kyle, the message is, connect with your deepest desires, then choose the path that will make your heart and soul sing. That will make your heart and soul sing. That is the key. That is the to hold in your heart and mind when you're making your decision of which path to choose. Which path is going to make your heart and soul sing? For some people, it will be the more linear path that will make your heart and soul sing. And for others, it will be the one that's windy and takes you longer to get to some place. And, you'll have many more experiences along the way, right? And that's okay. Either one is all right. What it boils down to is which one is going to make your heart and soul sing. What's going to bring you joy, right? And if you find that you're not having joy in your selection, choose again. We can do that. We can make our choice again. We can say, wait a minute, stop. I'm realizing that I'd rather choose differently. And we can do that. Many of us have already done that, maybe more than once.
Maybe more than once, yeah. Rob is saying, I try to avoid the interstate if I can. When I took mandolin lessons in Waterloo, I could get off at Front Street and get there without touching 401 or 402. The route took me through Stratford. So you took the highways and byways, right? Nothing wrong with that. Um, yeah. It's a nicely put. Yeah, I think you're talking about you're talking about selecting the path. I think so. And so what Kyle is saying here is that with this card is that you may feel like you are at a crossroads and you don't know which way to go. When we're unsure of what is right for us or the bigger picture, the angels can help you to know what is best for all involved. All right. So many times our decisions affect the people around us, affect our home life, and in many ways, even our community, right? And so when we're making our decision, what makes our souls sing, our hearts sing, is that we do sometimes have to take into consideration our family, our children if they're underage, right? Our spouse if we have one, a significant other. You know, the choices that I make involved a 99-year-old mom. You know, I can't travel like I used to. I can't go and teach in different states the way I used to, and so I'm really here in this spot, and so having to make choices that will help my heart and soul sing, which I have to admit, in 2017 was a difficult challenge, and the resistance that made it even harder. Um, and there was a lot of soul growth out of that one, a lot. And so finding a way to be able to be of service, to use my gifts, to have fun, enjoy doing it, I had to look at things from a different perspective, a different way of being. And so having that choice of which path to take. So, there was one path that I could have taken, and it would have been a little bit more of a challenge in finding the financial means to do it, but to have mom maybe have hired staff come in to take care of her. That's a choice. Another choice would have been to have mom put in a nursing home. Well, yeah, that was an emotional choice. I couldn't do that. And so we all have choices to make. And so the choice that I made was to have my heart and soul sing. And so, and so that's why we built this building. We were looking at how I could do this differently. So we can choose again. You can choose again. What else does Kyle say here? He says that your path isn't set in stone, and your angels and guides have no expectations of you, nor should you have any for yourself. There are many directions that can be taken. None of them are wrong, as they all hold perfect opportunities to grow and to learn. But life is to be enjoyed and savored. So if you know that there is a decision to be made, particularly if you are feeling indecisive, choose the path you know is going to make you light up. And choose with your heart. Choose with your heart. And I would add to choose with a balance between your head and your heart. A balance. And that means that you're choosing from your high heart. Right? Yeah. And so when you bring these two cards together, and we're talking about follow your instincts, choose your path, is that when we are fully connected to all of our relatives, that we're not holding ourselves separate, that we begin to remember or have remembered our natural instinct as an animal, part of the animal kingdom. We are two-legged, yes. that when we come fully into that we have full access, we deepen our intuition. And when we choose our paths with with our heart and our soul, that makes our experience here so much more richer, deeper. Yeah. That when we use our gifts, and I do believe our instinct is one of those gifts that we came in with. That when we use that, that our soul contract here, we even get to understand that better. Mm-hmm. Andrea is saying these cards are so perfect, just what I needed to hear. Oh, good for you. Good. Yay, Andrea. And Tina is saying, and within and outside of ourselves, a feather symbolizes on the direction card. Yeah, absolutely true, Tina. Thank you for adding that. Yes. Yeah. You can see the angel feathers up here near the top, and then you have the eagle feathers down here below. Wings. And we go back to that, as within, so without, as above, so below. That Hermetic law. Yeah. So, we've spent a lot of time in December talking about bringing our gifts forward, using our gifts, applying our gifts, grounding our manifestations through our physical body, using our gifts. And this week, it has all been about being spirit, having a physical experience, using and tapping into our intuition even in a deeper way. I like it a lot. So let's see what time it is. Oh, look at that, top of the hour. All right, so whatever we shared today, and thank you so much, you guys, for adding to the conversation and having that spiritual conversation, supporting each other, right? Thank you for that. And anything that resonated with you, please embrace and notice how the energy that's flowing today, how it unfolds for you, and where and how this information is helpful to you. That's a good thing, right? Yeah. And if it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's all right. You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings that it didn't resonate with you. Maybe whatever comes tomorrow will. You might just be a messenger this time around and know somebody who would enjoy the conversation or the information shared, and you can just share the link to the recorded show with them, right? And then you're done. You're just the messenger. So, what's coming up for Star Nations this week is lots of good stuff. Today is the 6th, though on the 10th, on January 10th, we're going to publish the January issue of Star Nations magazine, the first one for 2019. I really do think you guys are going to like this one. A lot of the articles are about Heart's Desire. And so we have that. I'm working on that. We also have live stream shows that are occurring. On Tuesday is Mervyn Kelly and From Star to Stone. And that's on at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And he's going to be talking about 2019. And okay, it's here. Now what do we do with it? From a Druid point of view. And then at noon Eastern time is Polly Jo LeBay's show, Chakra Sessions. It's hard to say fast. Chakra Sessions. And she's going to be talking about and sharing about the 12 chakra system. And she always has a healing meditation that goes with the topic. I'm definitely going to be at that one. And then my show on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, Communications from Home, we're going to be talking about the January issue and the backstory that goes along with that. I should say plural, backstories about the articles. And on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time is Soul Connections with Polly Jo LeBay. The first half of that show is the healing meditation, where we bring our intention to heal or to release something. And with our spiritual team, so we have time to do our own healing. Polly Jo, what she does is she creates the sacred container for that. And between her and her spiritual team, they help us to do the work that we're doing for ourselves. That's the first half of that show. The second half is individual card reads. And so if you enjoy that kind of spiritual work, join us, because Polly Jo's, number one, she's really good at it. And number two, she will read cards until everybody who wants one has one. I think her record number of card draws is 53 in one evening. 53. That's a lot. And I think that's it for the first week. It's a lot, isn't it? So anyway, enjoy the rest of your day or Sunday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow afternoon for the daily live stream and the card draw. It's a good thing we're ending, because I'm finding it hard to talk. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you later. Ba Ma Mina, until we see each other again. Love you guys.